Welcome to today's Explainer. So, have you ever really stopped to wonder what happens in those crucial 10 minutes before a hiring manager walks into the room to interview you? Or, what a potential client is doing right before they jump on a discovery call with you? Well, today we are unpacking the new reality of hiring and professional networking. We're going to explore exactly why your online identity is, without a doubt, your absolute most critical career asset in 2026. I am so thrilled to guide you through this because honestly, understanding the unseen forces driving your career, it's incredibly empowering. We're breaking down what employers are hunting for, what might literally be sabotaging you behind the scenes, and most importantly, how you can take total control over your professional narrative. All right, let's just dive right in.
Let's pause and really think about this for a second. Is your online reputation actively helping your career right now, or is it quietly holding you back? Because here's the reality of 2026. Long before you ever step foot into an HR interview and way before you shake hands at some high-stakes client meeting, the people sitting across the table, they've already searched your name. Online research is just the absolute standard now. It's a totally unskippable step in the vetting process. And what they find before you even get a chance to introduce yourself, before you've spoken a single syllable, can either instantly bulletproof your credibility or raise immediate red flags.
There's this saying, your resume may open the door, but your online reputation determines if you get inside. And wow, think about the sheer frustration of having a flawless resume, right? You've got the perfect degrees, the exact years of experience they want, only to be silently vetoed before the first round. Your qualifications are fantastic for getting your foot in the door, they are the baseline. But what a recruiter or a future business partner actually finds when they dig into the internet, well, that's what decides whether you actually get the seat at the table. A stellar CV just isn't enough on its own anymore. It has to be backed up by a rock-solid digital reality.
Section 1. The digital first impression.
So, what are they actually looking for? Look, recruiters want to understand who you really are beyond those carefully crafted bullet points on a PDF. When they fire up a search engine, they aren't just verifying your employment dates. They're looking for a three-dimensional human being. Take personal branding, for instance. They aren't merely looking at where you worked. They want to know what you actually stand for in your industry. They're actively evaluating your overall digital credibility. Do you share insights about your field? Are you jumping into professional discussions? Do your public achievements, your news mentions or industry awards, actually match the ambition you projected in your cover letter? They're building a comprehensive profile to see if you're a genuine cultural and professional fit. Basically, they want the full picture to see if the person on paper matches the person out there in the wild.
Now, the sheer scope of this is usually what catches most people completely off guard. Your digital footprint is defined as everything connected to your name that contributes to your professional identity online. I really want to emphasize that word, everything. It encompasses way more than just a polished portfolio or the specific professional links you cherry-picked for an application. It is a vast, interconnected web of data. And every single one of those data points is communicating something about your character, your judgment, and your expertise. Let's picture a real-world scenario here. Your footprint isn't just your updated LinkedIn profile. It's that niche podcast interview you did 3 years ago that you've totally forgotten about. It's a frustrated, maybe overly harsh online review you left for a local pizza place in a moment of anger. It's an outdated personal blog you started back in college and just forgot to take down. It's even photos from a weekend trip tagged by a friend. All of these scattered pieces across search engines, authored articles, social media accounts, and videos, they collectively speak for you. They assemble themselves into your professional identity, very often without your active participation or, frankly, your permission.
Section 2. Helping versus hurting.
There is a really stark divide here when it comes to how this information impacts you. Certain singles act like a master key, opening doors instantly. We're talking about things like professional search results, positive media mentions, fully updated profiles, and industry awards. These things build immediate, undeniable trust. But on the flip side, you have the silent career killers. Negative news is the obvious one, sure, but this also includes outdated info that makes you look disengaged. It includes unprofessional public posts that show a severe lack of judgment or poor online reviews. These elements instantly erode trust and give decision-makers a really easy excuse to just move on to the next candidate.
But here is the real trap, and it's a sneaky one. Not every reputation issue is obvious. The psychology of a quiet derailment is absolutely fascinating. You might not have headline-making negative news or some viral scandal, but you could still be hurting your prospects. Sometimes the issue isn't what's there, but what isn't there. A complete ghost town of a profile, missing professional details, or a glaring mismatch between your current resume and an abandoned profile from 5 years ago? That creates a sense of unease. Decision-makers really do not like uncertainty. Even benign content that is simply wildly out of date subtly signals that maybe, just maybe, you aren't keeping up with your industry.
Imagine being the absolute most qualified person in the room. You have the skills, you have the drive, but a neglected digital footprint means you don't even get the interview invitation in the first place. That is a concrete, measurable loss. If left unmanaged, those silent rejections start to pile up. A weak digital presence leads directly to lost client trust, reduced networking opportunities, and ultimately much slower career growth. And honestly, the most frustrating part, nobody ever calls to tell you that an old search result is the reason you didn't get the call back. You're just left hanging, wondering why your professional credibility isn't translating into forward momentum.
This brings us to a pretty harsh truth about human psychology. People often make assumptions based on what they find online, even when that information doesn't tell the full story. This right here is the absolute most dangerous part of a neglected digital identity. Massive decisions about your promotions or your critical business success are being made based on incomplete, uncurated data. Human beings naturally try to fill in the blanks, right? If your online presence is messy, scattered, or unprofessional, they are going to subconsciously assume your actual professional work is going to be messy and scattered too.
Section 3. Taking back control.
Building a stronger online presence definitely requires consistent effort. But shifting from a state of anxiety to a state of total empowerment? It's entirely doable if you follow a structured approach. First off, search your own name regularly, and do it in an incognito or private browsing window, so your past search history doesn't skew the results. You need to see exactly what a stranger sees. Second, optimize your professional profiles. Don't just list your jobs, tell a compelling story about the impact you've made. Third, publish valuable content. You don't have to be a full-time influencer, I promise, but sharing a thoughtful industry insight once a month shows you're engaged. Fourth, monitor your online presence. Set up automated alerts for any new mentions of your name. Fifth, strengthen your personal brand by keeping your message and tone consistent across all platforms. And finally, address harmful content head-on. If misleading info pops up, use professional strategies to push it down or clarify it, rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping it magically goes away.
When you finally take the reins, the shift is absolutely incredible. You literally stop playing defense and start playing offense. Proactively managing your online brand means you're directly and positively influencing critical career milestones. You steer hiring decisions in your favor. You position yourself naturally for promotions, and you instantly boost client confidence right before a big pitch. A strong, curated reputation acts like a magnet. It unlocks new speaking opportunities and professional partnerships that simply wouldn't find you otherwise. Reputation management is no longer just some vanity exercise, it is a primary driver of sustained business growth.
As we begin to wrap up this explainer, I really want you to walk away with this one defining thought. Your online reputation is one of the most powerful career assets you have. Every single search result, every profile, every review, and every social media interaction is actively contributing to the impression the world is forming about you right at this very second. It's like a living, breathing resume that literally never sleeps. You can take that crucial first step toward protecting your professional future over at clearmyname.org. But before you go, ask yourself this one last question. If your dream employer or your absolute ideal biggest client Googled your name right at this exact second, would they be calling you with an irresistible offer tomorrow morning, or would they be quietly moving on to the next candidate? The choice of what they find is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hey, here's to building a digital footprint that opens literally every single door you want to walk through.